Hello, hope y'all are all doing very well. It's April 28th, and today I'm back. So today I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. I'm pretty much only going to be talking about severe weather. I'm going to be talking about pretty much what's ongoing right now in areas of the off the coast of Texas and stuff. And I'm also going to be talking about our severe weather event tomorrow in the southeast. So I hope y'all are all doing really well. I know it's been quite a bit. I think it's been about 3 weeks. Just a lot of stuff has kind of been happening. Uh, it's over probably. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. So we have a slight risk out for until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for areas of Texas, pretty much southern Texas and areas along the coast. Houston's in that, Corpus Christi, Brownsville, and stuff. Yeah, so currently we can see we have some kind of like a line. We can see this has been moving pretty much into the Gulf of Mexico here. Pretty good looking line. Definitely some gusty winds. No severe warnings currently, with this line, but we do have special marine warnings out for a large portion of the coast here. And then even down into the Corpus Christi area that line does extend into. Let me go ahead and switch radars here. And we do have a severe warning actually near the Mexico border, like way down here in South Texas. Let's just let this load. GR2 takes a while to load sometimes, of course. That's why. But I now have radar Omega and stuff. But yeah, we can see this line kind of continues. It breaks up a little bit, but we can see we had some storms sub-severe, sub-severe. They're below severe limits in the Corpus Christi area, but Corpus Christi currently getting some stuff. And then down near Zapata, I don't know how to say that. It looks like we have some storms producing some larger hail as well. So this continues for, it's a pretty long line here. If we put that like comparison, that would be about, I mean, that's from like maybe Birmingham or something all the way down to like almost New Orleans. It's probably even further southwest. So pretty cool to see that. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we can see that slight risk moves further east into southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama, and a good portion of the Florida Peninsula and the Panhandle. Orlando, and that St. Petersburg, Florida, Tampa, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, like a lot of big cities in Florida are in that. And then the marginal risk that goes up to like Columbus, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. Warner Robins is probably in that. Maybe even Macon actually. Let me see. Macon is in that. Okay. Yeah, so we have Macon in that risk. Cordell, Tifton, Eastman, Dublin. But yes, that's just some other places, and that also extends into a good portion of South Carolina as well. So we have a 5% tour risk, 15 wind, and a 15 hail along the east coast of Florida and coastal areas of Georgia. So that's what I want to start talking about. So we're just looking at forecasted or really simulated reflectivity for tomorrow to start off. And we can see by 10-0, we're already starting to see some storms trying to get going. Some like messy little like multi-cell clustered like trash stuff getting going across southern Georgia, like near Valdosta, kind of in that area, into Florida as well. And then there's kind of this stay there. There's kind of train over there. But by 8 a.m., we're looking at those storms still remaining there. And then we start to see everything get pushed north as we see a large line of maybe some supercells ahead of it, just like ramming into western Florida, or to the west coast of Florida. And then some interesting stuff up near the, like Sunday night and stuff. This is interesting here. We have like another kind of like broken line that forms, and then also maybe some interesting stuff up in that area. So we'll talk about that. Now let's go ahead and take some soundings. So I want to take a couple of soundings. We'll take a box sounding with this little convection at 10Z. Not really expecting this to be that good. Yeah, we can see it by far definitely not good. You would see mainly a damaging wind through out of that, if anything. And yeah, so during the afternoon we see that convection and stuff gets pushed north. I'm not thinking that these northern storms are going to do too much. I'm trying to take some soundings here to see, but yeah, that's generally not the best. You would see like that's like a 2 tour in my opinion, right there, which I guess is why we have that marginal risk out right there. Just damaging winds, tornadoes, and definitely some smaller hail as well. For a lot of those areas, their tornado threat I think will exist, but I don't think it's going to be that big. And this sounding is going to be a little contaminated. So let's just take a normal sounding in South Carolina. Let's see. Yes, this is usable, not that contaminated. So and it's honestly not that good. So environments that definitely looks a little better as you get into like further western, like the western part of the South, like the low country of South Carolina, and then further into Georgia. The environment definitely seems better in regards to this area here. Now we're also going to want to talk about that area, and then this area here, which is kind of the main area down in Florida. So we see in the afternoon we have kind of a bunch of like supercells that could produce some large hail according to the HRRR, kind of with just by looking at that. So I mean, yeah, with this sounding here, we can kind of see why we do have that large hail threat. Actually, I mean, our surface lapses are actually really good. Uh, I can see this is a pretty interesting sounding, honestly. It doesn't look that good for like long-term storms though. It looks like we're just gonna see these storms collapse. I don't even think we're gonna really see a lot of supercell action out of that either. It just looks like, I mean, yeah, we could see some supercells out of that, but 5% tornado risk at the most. Mainly with any of those storms ahead of kind of this line here that'll be producing some damaging winds. So that's generally what's gonna occur. I'd say this area kind of, let me circle this. Like that area here, I think looks the best. Kind of like, that's kind of my opinion for tornadoes. It's kind of a weird situation that Amara is like, I haven't seen a day like this in a while now. I haven't really been looking too much at the weather for the past 3 weeks, just due to like life stuff that's been happening. And then, but I haven't seen an event like this in a while. I don't know if we've had it. I mean, maybe we had an event like this, but I mean, since I've been looking at weather, like consistently looking at weather models since like 2019, 2020, this is a pretty interesting event for sure compared to other events I've tracked. But also we're going to want to be watching that aerial on the low. So we take a look at dew points here. We can just kind of look at where we see that low placement. See what happens is we have that low pretty much get its action together across Mississippi, Alabama, head into North Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So let's see, let's take a sound. I want to lock it on our forecast hour 22 here. Pull up composite reflectivity. See, yeah, it's like a weird situation. I'm like, once again, this isn't, honestly, that's like a really big sounding, but it's going to be very hard to get a sounding because in front of this, the environment's not going to be that good because we lack moisture. But I mean, yeah, maybe we could see like a little bit of a severe threat like with those storms. I don't think we're going to see a tornado threat out, honestly. By 01Z, we can see if we start to see storms go off in Alabama. Maybe you can actually get a sounding now. So yeah, that environment's not that good. I can see why we're getting storms and stuff. It mainly be like a very low end damaging wind threat, but overall not good. As barely even a marginal risk sounding, if a marginal risk sounding, in my opinion. So 03Z, okay, this would be 11 p.m. now. It's Eastern time, 10 p.m. Central, and we're starting to see all that convection kind of die out due to the environment. But as this low starts to get its act together, we see a little bit more storms. Still convection kind of get going in North Georgia and stuff. We're starting to see a little bit more of an open, warm sector get its act together. The environment is generally bad. I mean, for tornadoes and stuff like this is not good. Even just for normal severe weather, this is in my opinion like not even a marginal risk sounding. That's sub severe, but I definitely think we could see some storms throughout the night. And the tornado threat, on previous runs of the HRRR, the tornado threat was kind of like questionable. But now, like, there was like a little bit of a tornado threat, but now I think it's gone down. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see everything right, we could get something like somewhere in here, or maybe like in that area there. But I honestly don't think it looks that good. If we see, we'd have to see a little bit of an uptrend in models overnight, and then we'd also have to. It'd be probably still be a very isolated risk tomorrow. Well, actually, into Sunday morning as well. But yes, let's go ahead and talk about Sunday real quick, severe otherwise. So Sunday we just have a marginal risk for areas of central and southern Florida, and like the eastern North Carolina area, eastern South Carolina area. So let's go ahead and switch sectors here. We'll go ahead and actually not that. Let's go back to regional. Okay. Yeah, so 19Z we're starting to It looks like that low like just goes right. Let me play this out here. I'm kind of confused as to what is actually happening. Okay, so yeah, we see storms right along the low pretty much, which actually that looks already this looks like a decent setup considering I mean everything is kind of coming together. But yeah, so with this sounding here, this is definitely not terrible in my opinion. Circling to some like important stuff here. Overall, this would be like a slight risk sounding here. This actually doesn't look that bad for damaging winds and stuff. But tornadoes, that's a 2% sounding for tornadoes, honestly. A very low tornado risk. Surprisingly, but I've seen some stuff on Twitter about like how people believe there would be, like we're going to see a tornado throw actually with that sounding. That looks better. Let me go ahead and take a sounding that's less contaminated. See, yeah, here we go. Well, oh my god, that's terrible. What is happening in that sounding? I think I probably took it too close to the coast. But I can't get a sounding that's not contaminated, so just give me a second. Oh my gosh, what? It's actually annoying. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're just not gonna get a sounding that's not contaminated, but we can definitely tell the environment's a lot better in that area. Let me try to go back and maybe try to take a sounding that's not contaminated. I don't understand why they're so contaminated. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this just shows you. So we do have a decent environment for tornadoes. Okay, overall this would be like a 2% sounding in my opinion. You have the chance of seeing some brief tornadoes out of this. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like right along that low Sunday afternoon. We'd see a damaging wind threat as well as a tornado threat mix into that. I think we could see a brief spin up in some of these storms that are like really close to low. But yes, that's pretty much the severe weather stuff. It's all I really wanted to go over in today's video. I don't want to make it too long. I think it's been pretty short so far, but yeah, thank y'all for watching. I should be back either tomorrow night, or Sunday. Probably tomorrow night though, because Sunday I'll be a little busier. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. I hope y'all have an excellent night, and goodbye.